Stefan Bondy, he covers the Knicks for the New York Post. He joins us on the program. Stefan, thank you for joining us on short notice. How should Rick Carlisle feel today?
Well, I mean, he should feel like game three is his do or die game. I mean, you don't go down 3-0 and win a series in the NBA. It's never been done. And so I think that's why he came out so forcefully after game two, because, he had legitimate gripes in game one with, what happened with the officiating and the screen late and the kickball that wasn't really a kickball. But I think in game two, he came out, he got ejected to send a message, and he wanted to send a message to the NBA and the officials that, we're here to fight and, we should get our fair share of calls. So that's how he should feel. He should feel motivated to win game three.
Injury status of OG and Brunson. Are they? Let me start with Brunson because he did play the second half, but do we even know what the injury was?
Sore foot. That's all we're getting. And he wasn't very expansive when we talked to him about it after the game. He did say he was feeling good, and he certainly played very well in the fourth quarter. So, I'm going to take his word for it and think he's going to give it a go. We find out in the injury report comes out at 5:30. Now, OG Anunoby, he came out in late in the third quarter with the hamstring. It was ruled out pretty quickly for the fourth quarter. So to me, that symbolizes that it's something that's pretty bad in terms of, just feeling the pain in that hamstring right away. We all know, we've covered sports for a long time. Hamstrings are tricky. So we're going to wait until 5:30. That's the latest that we'll find out about his status for tomorrow. If I were a betting man, I would say Jalen Brunson plays and OG Anunoby does not.
The high minutes, is this style sustainable?
You know what? I didn't think it was, but I'm not gonna doubt these guys anymore. Josh Hart has been an absolute monster, playing 48 minutes. It's a throwback to when they used to do it all the time, except now the pace is up and they play a lot harder. And the way that he's playing, I'm waiting for him to tire, and it just isn't happening. So I'm done doubting him. With that being said, I do wonder, with how shorthanded the Knicks are, whether that will eventually catch up with not just Josh Hart, but, the entire team. The Pacers are a very deep team. They play fast, and the Knicks are just severely shorthanded, especially if OG Anunoby isn't playing.
Why does it feel like the Knicks are a small market team or the underdog team in this situation?
I like that. I like that because for years, the Knicks have been chasing that big name, right? They're the marquee team. They're in the media capital of the world. They chased LeBron James, didn't get him. They chased Kevin Durant, didn't get him. But they're winning now and get this, not one player in their rotation was a lottery pick. Not one. They're all overachievers. Jalen Brunson epitomizes all that. He was a second-round pick. Everybody doubted him every step of the way, from his size to his lack of athleticism. So I think just the idea that they're all overachievers, I think that plays into the idea that they're a small market team, and they're all likable personalities. It's been fun to cover this team.
If I had not seen Jalen Brunson play, but you were going to describe him, how would you give me a sentence or two that you would write and say, now you know what Jalen Brunson's all about?
A master footwork, genius as a point guard, in finding ways to create his own shot. I mean, the footwork, I really want to hammer that home because I've never covered a guy who, with that, he's not going to jump out of the gym. He can barely dunk. But for him to find different ways to score, to get in the paint, to bang with these more athletic, bigger bodies and create for himself, it's just been remarkable. I think that is what I'd like to highlight with Jalen Brunson. The other thing is the leadership aspect. That was never doubted. What he's won throughout his whole career. He won in high school. He won at Villanova. He's the kind of personality and the type of leader that you want at the top of the franchise, at the top of the totem pole. So, that was never in question. The question was about his ability, and he's showing that he certainly has that now.
It's like if Chris Paul and Luka had a baby, it'd be
right.
Jalen Brunson, because he had to learn from Luka of angles, style, getting somebody on your hip, and also Chris Paul's ability to just navigate without having great athleticism. And it just feels like that every single night. Man, it's weird. If you said, I'm going to attach Jalen Brunson to Bernard King, I'd go, wait, well, what's the category? Scoring. I'd go, oh, no. Bernard King was unstoppable. But you're watching
Right.
Jalen Brunson, and you're going, he's unstoppable in a way that it's confounding. Whereas with Bernard King, it was just like, the dude's going to score. He's a machine. But Jalen Brunson continues to just bring it to you in a variety of ways that is really fascinating. And I brought this up earlier, Stefan, that if you said who's the most valuable player to his team, he's more valuable than any other player to his team this year. And I'm factoring in the playoffs, but Joker's wonderful. Shea Gilgeous. Brunson has been the most valuable player to his team. Not best player, but he's been the most valuable player. I don't know where you had him when you voted for MVP.
So I didn't have a vote this year, but if I had voted, I would have given him fifth. And this is
Okay.
just, I'm one of the people that have underestimated Jalen Brunson for a long time. I thought when they signed him for $104 million, I thought it was a little bit of an overreach. I didn't think he was going to make that big of a difference. I thought, yeah, well, he's an all-star now, but he's not that number 1A guy. And every step of the way, the guy is just bursting through ceilings, creating new ceilings, and making myself look dumb. And I also now have to think what a baby would look like between Chris Paul and Luka Doncic. So
Sorry about that. Sorry. Yeah, enjoy your day. Hey, safe travels to Indy, and thanks for joining us.
All right, thank you.
That's Stefan Bondy, Nick's beat right. I apologize. I put that visual in his head. He's going to be thinking about that.